Everyone loves Pikmin, right? Those adorable tiny little creatures. But have you ever wondered what they actually are? What dark secrets could they hide? I don't know. Let's find out. Pikmin are the eponymous organisms of the Pikmin series, and appear to be a hybrid of both plant and animal. Native to PNF 404, and despite their diminutive stature, these industrious creatures slaughter the indigenous fauna before carting the corpses back to their nest, a bizarre onion-like structure, for conversion into more Pikmin. This ability to work as a group has unfortunately led to a tendency of alien invaders exploiting the poor Pikmin, forcing them to round up spaceship parts, fruit and other worthless junk. Nonetheless, Pikmin are hardy creatures with 8 species so far recorded, each specialised for a different environment. If assuming that PNF 404 is in fact a future Earth, the human race exterminated and surviving biota warped by the aftermath of nuclear Armageddon, Pikmin must be descended from something. But what? Firstly, let's compile some attributes of Pikmin. 1. An astounding ability to cooperate. 2. They carry food back to the home nest. And 3. An unexpected sweet tooth. When you add all of this up, what real life example springs to mind? Exactly, the wonderful Hymenoptera, namely the Formidaceae, aka the ants. The cooperative nature of eusocial army ants easily enable them to butcher larger organisms when on the march, with some reports of them killing goats. Surely this explains the existence of Pikmin, naught but irradiated ants. Unfortunately, it's not all that simple. Eusocial organisms, like ants, are defined by the presence of castes, essentially different forms, that allow for division of labour and so increased colony efficiency. This usually takes the form of sterile worker caste for gathering food and a reproductive caste for, well, reproducing. We can clearly see the Pikmin's worker caste, but where are the reproductives? The onion. I theorise that a Pikmin queen lies within the onion's walls, feasting on the spoils of war and popping out new Pikmin for the colony. Now that that's cleared up, it's sorted, right? Pikmin, simply ants. Not quite. Being mere ants can't explain Pikmin's plant-like features, the leaf, the seeds. For that, we have to go deeper. Okay, so Pikmin are ants, but they aren't entirely ants. What else could they be? Let's turn back to the real world for inspiration. One genus of fungi, Cordyceps, is famous for infecting invertebrates, including ants, and controlling them, forcing them to seek out high ground and stay there as the fungus consumes their body and spreads more spores. Perhaps Pikmin are in a similar situation. Evidence for this comes from bulbmen, hapless bulborbs that have been infected by a parasitic Pikmin, conceivably the precursor to the Pikmin found on PNF 404's surface. This also explains the seeds produced by onions. Those aren't seeds, but rather eggs. Eggs from the Pikmin queen that have been inoculated with fungal spores. Of course, this doesn't fully explain the Pikmin's plant-like features. Fungi aren't plants, until you consider one more organism. Or I should specify, a union of 2. I should warn you that the entirety of this video has been me randomly rambling about theories, and I'm about to go off the bloody deep end. Lichen are a mutualistic association between a fungus and a photosynthetic cyanobacteria, the fungus providing an anchor and minerals from the surroundings, and the cyanobacteria producing that sweet glucose via photosynthesis. Moreover, some lichen are parasitic themselves, albeit on other lichen. Perhaps Cordyceps entered a similar mutualistic relationship, or a lichen evolved to parasitize the unlucky proto-Pikmin, imbuing them with plant-like photosynthetic properties. Now that we've established that Pikmin are a horrific combination of ants, fungus and cyanobacteria, I should pick holes in my theory. 1. Cyanobacteria aren't true plants, let alone angiosperms, so I can't explain how Pikmin form their leaves or flowers unless it's some giant coincidence. 2. I have no idea how candy pop buds work or why the onions merged in Pikmin 3. And 3. The creation of Puffmin by Puffstools is still a mystery. Perhaps it's a secondary parasite that hijacks the lichen or cordyceps combination. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this little thought experiment. maybe you've enjoyed it enough to like or subscribe. Oh well, I live in hope. But do let me know if you want me to make more Pikmin videos though. And before I go, I will point out that all the music you've been hearing is made by the fantastic Scruffy. Check their videos out, they make great remixes, they make great Pikmin videos. My particular favourite is looking at the models of Pikmin 3.